All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Indianapolis Colts in tonight's video. So as you guys know, my thoughts on my thoughts on Anthony Richardson, guys. I think this dude is so special. I think he's got such a bright future in the National Football League. And the fact that he's on the Colts and the fact that he was injured last season for, pretty much the whole year outside of his rookie month, like people are just sleeping. And I keep saying it on this channel anytime we talk about the Colts, like, folks, people are sleeping on you guys so much. Everybody is talking about CJ Stroud, and yes, he's a talented quarterback. He's a talented football player. The Houston Texans have a great roster. I understand it. But two great quarterbacks can exist in the same division. And of course, I'm not talking about Trevor Lawrence. I'm just kidding, Jaguars fans. I actually do like Trevor Lawrence, but it's neither here nor there. Anthony Richardson is so special. I was asking my buddy. My buddy's just such a diehard Florida Gator fan. And I actually watched Anthony Richardson play live a year and a half ago, or by this point, 2 years ago. The dude's so special. He can do things that nobody else can do in the National Football League at his position. And I asked my buddy, I was like, if you can just break it down, I'm going to make a Colts video. If you can break it down and let me know why Anthony Richardson is good, let me know, shoot it over. And he was like, who he is on the field and off the field. He's just such a great guy off of the field. When you see him play with your own two eyes, it's just so special. Obviously he's given me just, kind of status, what we already know, right? But his point still stands, and my point, or my opinion, still stands. Anthony Richardson, guys, this dude is so unbelievably good. You got two great rookies in Adonai Mitchell, Leatu Latu. This Colts team is stacked, all right? And we're going to talk about it in tonight's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I'm going to try and make way more Colts videos than I already do. We're making them about every other week. If we could try to get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. So I was reading an article, I think it was a Bleacher Report article, and they were talking, like they were given like a sentence overreaction for every for every team in the NFL. And I scrolled down to the Indianapolis Colts, and here was the overreaction. With plenty of capital to work with, they didn't do enough to enhance the roster for young quarterback Anthony Richardson. And I'm thinking to myself, first off, Adonai Mitchell, like they did. Right. But it's neither here nor there. And then they gave a why, and it was like, we've seen time and time again that free agency is overrated and the Colts keep their core together, trust the process. And I just agree with it fully. Every, here and there, Bleacher Report, they do understand what they're doing. But I'm surprised that they said that about Anthony Richardson and this team, because it's just so spot on. The Colts are a really good roster. In general, they have a really good offense. You've got actually one of the best running backs in the National Football League in Jonathan Taylor. And I think just the fact that, Anthony played, 3 full games, got injured in the first month of the season. Gardner Minshew led the Colts to a 9-8 record. He did a phenomenal job. But I think Shane Steichen to Indianapolis is flying under the radar in general. I think the Colts, Indianapolis sports, I'm from the Chicagoland area, so I know a thing or two. I just think Indianapolis sports or Indiana sports go, they're under the radar, they're undercovered, they're underappreciated, underrated in general, as we just saw by the Pacers. But I'm thinking to myself, you've got a great offensive line. And you've got Latu, and you've got Mitchell, and you just got two phenomenal day one contributors. Like, Latu might be the best defensive player in the entire draft class. Like, I'm not saying one of the best edge rushers. I'm not saying, like a slept on first round pick. Latu, if he is healthy, is a day one stud. He will be a star very soon, and he would probably be, if my money is on the line here, he'll probably be a superstar relatively quickly. The only thing holding Latu back from stardom is injuries, or injury concern, I should say. But going back to the whole Indianapolis Colts offseason, they didn't do much, and it's because they didn't need to do much. Michael Pittman Jr.'s extension is, like, monetary-wise, the money is genius. They did a phenomenal job. The offensive line is great. The group allowed a pressure on just 18.3% of dropbacks, and the Colts offense was 10th in yards per carry at 4.3. Once again, Jonathan Taylor is still one of the league's best running backs. And then Anthony Richardson told reporters that he doesn't think he has to dial his aggressiveness back to stay on the field. He said this quote, I don't feel like there's anything wrong with my play style. People see me, I'm a big quarterback, so they always think he wants to run the ball, he wants to be physical, and that's what's going to get him hurt. That's not the case. Everything else happened because we play a dangerous game. And that's like the only flaw people have with Anthony Richardson. Like 1 year ago, it was like, oh, can he even throw, an accurate football? And obviously, if you watched him play in Florida, if you watched him in his rookie season, I'm not concerned about accuracy. What I'm concerned about is him staying on the field. And that is something that remains to be seen. But granted, he was a rookie last season. So I was reading a statistic, and the projected stats for Anthony Richardson this upcoming season: 62.2 completion percentage, 3,100 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 1,000 rushing yards, and 7 rushing touchdowns. So, you know, I don't like the 3,100 passing yard statistic because I think a lot of people underappreciate. I think a lot of people just don't fully understand that Anthony Richardson the dude can gun it. The dude's got a freaking cannon as an arm, but he's a phenomenal runner. And 1,000 rushing yards, this would be, even though, once again, 18 touchdowns passing, 10 interceptions, 3,100 passing yards. I think Shane Steichen and Anthony Richardson's a lethal combo. I think he'll have much better statistics than that. But that is something that caught my eye was, in this article, he was projected 1,000 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. That's what people are about to know about Anthony Richardson is, yeah, he can run the ball. I think people know he can run the ball. I think, honestly, the only thing with AR or Anthony Richardson right now is just the fact that he got injured. This was a high pick. This was, not as big of a risk as people think. The reward is off the charts here. Michael Pittman Jr. is one of the most underrated, underappreciated wide receivers in the National Football League. Josh Downs, although he did have, I think it was 5 total drops last season, he had a great, once again, undercovered, underappreciated, underrated rookie season. And you got Adonai Mitchell, who, Anthony Richardson made a comment before the draft saying he wants to throw the ball deep more this year. Well, that's what you got right there. And you also have Alec Pierce entering year 3, big year for him. Jelani Woods, a guy who was banged up for all of last season. My hopes, my anticipation is still very high for him. And, to be honest with you, I just think Anthony Richardson's such a star quarterback in the National Football League. I don't think he's anything close to Justin Fields. I just really think people are flying this team under the radar. They've got a really decent secondary, which was a huge concern last season. They re-signed everybody. They didn't make any crazy moves because, once again, your franchise hopeful quarterback got injured in his 4th game, and you still almost made the playoffs. Like, this team is really good. And in my opinion, Anthony Richardson is really, really good. And we're about to see it very soon, in just a couple of months. So let me know what you guys are thinking. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. If you guys want more Colts vids, let me know down below. But give me a prediction on the Colts record this upcoming season. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend.